Cowboys' Dak Prescott sends six-word message to doubters. Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott has a lot on his shoulders. Expectations are big for Prescott, since he signed a massive four-year contract extension ahead of the 2024 season worth upwards of $240 million with $231 million in guaranteed money, making him the highest-paid player in the NFL. But the Cowboys are 3-4 heading into their Week 9 matchup with the Atlanta Falcons. It's not the showing Prescott or anyone in the Cowboys camp wants to see continue. Following the Cowboys' Thursday practice, Prescott spoke to media about his state of mind at this point on the season. Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott has a message for those who doubt him. In the October 31st talk with press, Prescott said that he's still as confident as ever, despite the Cowboys' rocky season. "You're never gonna knock my confidence," he told reporters, using the strong, six-word phrase to describe his mental state despite any doubters or haters. Prescott also said that he has to get out of the pocket and make other plays happen. As for needing to run the ball more, Prescott said, "When you're weighing that risk, it's when I've got the ball in my hands. It's not just about that play. It's about the team, the game, the momentum of it, and I've just got to be better." Prescott added, "Just off the top of my head, I know I haven't been running. Whether it's been the scrambles or not, a couple of play calls that could potentially be that way, just haven't had the read. Hell, I did it one time, and it wasn't the read, so in that sense, it just happens from within the pocket in the game. I think that's to my point is the risk versus reward. I'm pulling some of these things down, being better in the pocket, and then getting out and making something happen." NFL analyst says who should take more heat for losses. NFL.com analyst and expert Bucky Brooks places the blame for the Cowboys' latest losses on someone other than Prescott, Dallas Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones. In the November 1st feature, Brooks talks about the criticism on Prescott and says it isn't all warranted. While the 2023 MVP runner-up deserves flack for some errant tosses and poor decisions, the Cowboys just did not provide Prescott with a supporting cast that would enable him to flourish from the pocket this season, Brooks stated. With an aging backfield, a pass-catching group that seriously lacks juice beyond WR1 CeeDee Lamb, and an inexperienced O-line, Dallas' offense is a flawed unit right now. The Cowboys do not have the talent to compete with the league's heavyweights. Critics are out of line in placing all of the blame for this team's shortcomings on Dak. He added, "Owner/general manager Jerry Jones should take more heat for failing to build a roster that properly supports a highly accomplished quarterback who should be squarely in his prime." Brooks also said that, given the lack of talent around Prescott, how can we expect the 31-year-old to elevate a pedestrian offense in a pass-happy league? Cowboys RB Ezekiel Elliott not traveling with team for disciplinary reasons. The Cowboys will be short one of their two main rushers in Atlanta tomorrow, as Clarence Hill Jr. of the Fort Worth Star-Telegram reports that veteran running back Ezekiel Elliott will not be traveling with the team for this week's game. ESPN's Todd Archer adds that Elliott's new game status is the result of disciplinary reasons, while the loss may not seem critical, as Elliott has only accumulated 149 rushing yards in 7 games this season. Elliott is the only running back on the team to score a rushing touchdown this year. He is responsible for 2 of the team's 3 rushing scores all season. Stats like this underline how the Cowboys have ended up being the league's 32nd best running offense through 8 weeks of football. With only 519 rushing yards on the season, the Cowboys are 113 yards behind the 31st place Raiders and 1,081 yards behind the league-leading Ravens. At 29 years old, Elliott is far removed from his days of leading the league in rushing back in 2016 and 2018. He hasn't rushed for 1,000 yards since 2021. Elliott has missed games with injury before, and he's been a healthy scratch in games before, but this is the first time Elliott will miss a game as a healthy scratch in a game that isn't in the last week of the season. With Elliott out, the league's worst rushing offense will depend more heavily on starter Rico Dowdle, who has 246 rushing yards this season but adds an element through the air, as well, with 131 receiving yards and 2 receiving touchdowns. The only other active roster running back is the diminutive Deuce Vaughn, though the team has announced that it will elevate veteran rusher Dalvin Cook for the game tomorrow. Cornerback Josh Butler will join Cook for the week off of the practice squad. Cowboys elevate Dalvin Cook for Week 9 after Ezekiel Elliott discipline. Ezekiel Elliott has not had the best time in his second stint with the Dallas Cowboys and has become a healthy scratch in Week 9. In his place, the team activated veteran Dalvin Cook from the practice squad to potentially play in his second straight game with the team against the Atlanta Falcons. Cook was elevated to the active roster from the practice squad on November 2nd, per Tom Pelissero. Shortly after, it was reported that Elliott did not travel with the team to Atlanta due to disciplinary reasons by Adam Schefter. The team did not disclose what the disciplinary actions were for. In his first game of the season, Cook took 6 carries for 12 yards against the San Francisco 49ers in Week 8. He added 1 catch for 10 yards through the air. Cook was activated and saw the field due to starting running back Rico Dowdle missing the game with an illness. Dowdle will return to the starting lineup in Week 9 with Cook as his backup, and Deuce Vaughn a distant third on the depth chart. Dowdle's absence was painfully evident for the Cowboys in Week 8. Without their leading rusher, Dallas amassed just 56 rushing yards as a team and wound up losing by 6 points. Elliott served as the de facto Week 8 starter and turned his 10 carries into 34 rushing yards and a touchdown. He caught his lone target for 4 receiving yards. While a bleak yardage production, the 34 yards were Elliott's most in a single game since rushing for 40 yards in Week 1 against the Cleveland Browns. In Week 5, the Cowboys managed to get over the hump and improve to 3-2, but have not won a game since. As losers of their last 2 games, Dallas is now below .500 with a 3-4 record entering Week 9. The 5-3 Falcons will be the Cowboys' third opponent in their last 4 games with a winning record. Over the past 2 weeks, Dallas has been outscored 33-77 by the San Francisco 49ers and Detroit Lions. The loss to the Lions marked their second game of the season, allowing over 40 points and their first time failing to reach double digits. The schedule does not appear to get any easier for the Cowboys in Week 9 against Atlanta. The Falcons have won 4 of their last 5 games and are coming off an inspiring 31-26 win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. With 31 points in the game, the Falcons topped 30 for the third time in the last month. Cowboys make final Micah Parsons, Darren Bland Week 9 decisions. The Dallas Cowboys, 3-4, were hoping that their 2 injured All-Pros would provide vitally needed reinforcements for Sunday afternoon's game against the Atlanta Falcons, 5-3. But alas, the defense will remain woefully undermanned when the team takes the field in Mercedes-Benz Stadium.